Hey guys, welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today is Ken Napzok.
Hey guys, the Collider crew is in New York, or traveling, I should say, to New York City. We are here with you, holding down the fort. I'm going to be running point when Mark Ellis is out there telling the yucks and meeting all you guys out there at New York Comic Con. And there's going to be more about that, what we're doing out there, doing some live streaming of the panels, meet and greet, all those fun things. But I'm happy to be here today, Ashley, and you're at the table, which means
that I am.
You're going to be in the conversation whether you want to or not.
The lighting here is so good, can I just say?
Well, we three are divas. We need it perfect.
Also here at the table is Jeremy Jahns.
That's right. I almost kind of forgot that you're still doing that part. So I saw someone at the table also introduce me. It's been so long since I've been on Movie Talk, I forgot how to do it.
Oh, well, also here, Mark Reilly.
You'll be fine, Jeremy. You're a professional. We all love you to death. You got your water. I have my coffee. Ken Napzok is here, which is exciting.
I'm glad
Ashley
to be
at the table.
Glad to be next to you. You're an underrated pundit, man.
Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that very much.
All right, when word broke that a spin-off movie centering on Bumblebee was in development, producer Lorenzo di Bonaventura promised something different for the 80s set story, stating that the movie would take a page out of Iron Giant and feature less Transformers in the movie, with a story that is more emotionally complex than Michael Bay's previous films. Now it seems the less Transformers statement doesn't exactly mean Bumblebee is the only Transformer. Speaking with the CineMovie YouTube channel, Optimus Prime voice Peter Cullen confirmed that we'll be hearing his voice again in the new spin-off that will see the Kubo and the Two Strings director Travis Knight taking on directing duties. Ken, do you think Peter Cullen will be voicing a different Transformer in the Bumblebee spin-off, or is Optimus Prime going to be in the movie?
It's got to be Optimus Prime. If you got Peter Cullen, that is what he's known for. Sure, he can do thousands of other voices. Most of these voiceover artists can't. But Jeremy, stop having sex on the table over there.
Oh my gosh,
what
so
does that
scandalous.
sound over there? You absolutely have to have Optimus Prime. And I get the idea of them not wanting to put a lot of different Transformers in this movie. I love this. I actually love it. Yeah, Mark Reilly, I'm saying this. I love this Transformers pitch of a Iron Giant, emotional robot and kid type of movie we got here, but that doesn't mean you can't have the other Transformers. I'm not saying Megatron, Starscream, Soundwave need to show up, but to hear Peter Cullen say, Autobots, roll out, that's not the best way to say it. You have to have that in the movie.
I agree, and this is going to go against everything that I've built upon my life.
Yeah, you're an anti-Transformer.
That I can't believe that I'm saying this, but bring on Optimus Prime. Bring on Bumblebee, but the reason I am interested in this movie is because of Travis Knight and because of the statements that this is going to be like Iron Giant, or at least have some tip of the hats or some inspiration taken from Iron Giant, which is one of the greatest movies of all time. I love that. I love a story about a boy and his dog, or a girl and his Transformer, or a boy and his dragon, or a boy and his alien. Some of the favorite movies that I like into this. So if we're going to get emotionally complex, says the producer, and less Transformers, but we're going to have maybe a cameo from Optimus Prime, or Optimus is going to serve a part. I'm sure Optimus is going to come in and make some tip of the hats to like the future Transformers movies. You're going to be like, oh, trouble's coming.
Because these are in the 80s, right?
These are in the 80s.
Which is prime Transformers time.
Right. So what if we get a little bit of some Transformers animated series flavor?
Yeah.
That I can get behind. Travis Knight, Kubo and the Two Strings, what a fantastic movie. If this guy's directing this, I have a lot more faith than, I'm sorry, Michael Bay, who just, he lost me right after the third one. So I'm all for this.
Now, so you're saying Iron Giant, one of your favorite movies. So it's Superman, Dirty Work with Norm Macdonald,
Dirty Work,
Iron Giant.
Iron Giant, right? E.T., Jaws.
Some of those movies.
E.T.
Some
also
of those
a boy in
movies.
his dog story.
There it is.
Jeremy Jahns, where do you rank Dirty Work on your top 10 favorite movies?
Top 10 favorite movies of all time. We'll do Your Dirty Work with Norm Macdonald. It's got to be number one in some form of dimension. Which is funny. You were talking about the boy in the dog story. I then thought of the Han Solo movie we won't actually get. In terms of a Bumblebee movie, I like the Iron Giant pitch. I like the talent behind it, but the Transformers is such a stigma at this point. You have to do something different, which I think the Bumblebee movie could have been. I think Peter Cullen, if you have his voice, I agree with you, Ken. He's probably going to be Optimus Prime. At which point, I feel like Optimus Prime's like Batman for the DC universe, where they came up with Justice League Dark, which Batman isn't a part of, and they were like, you have to have Batman in the animation because he's Batman. I feel like Optimus Prime's kind of doing that. I wish they would have just committed to their one Transformer rather than Autobot singular rollout, but we'll see how it goes.
Could that really work though in this market? That they're going for. That people are used to all the Transformers clashing. Some people grew up with them like us. Maybe that could work a little bit better. But could that work? Just bot and kid?
I think it could work if you narrow the budget down. If you spend $300 million on it now, it's going to be a certain failure. But if you just have one Autobot and you hone in the budget, I feel like you can make it work.
You might be all right.
Well, that's interesting because I hope that it is less of a main part for Optimus Prime, even though I want him in it, but more of a cameo. Because if we go to the mythology set up in the movies, the first movie being halfway decent, I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah.
They show up for the first time and kind of present themselves to the world, and then the government's after them. But we've seen, and then I know the mythology got all muddled later on when apparently they helped the the Allies win the war against the Nazis.
Yeah.
So, but I like the idea of like Bumblebee having to hide out and like not be a part of the world, and it's Haley Steinfeld's character that is the one that's like, here, I'll help you.
We're just pitching stories here now.
Yeah.
Here on Movie Talk. That's what we're doing.
spitballing.
What if it starts on Cybertron? What if you start there and you got Optimus Prime saying, "No, Bumblebee, wait in this spaceship. Don't press launch." And then Bumblebee launches and he ends up on Earth before everyone else. Something like that. Then it goes into your story.
Yeah, I absolutely think that it could work if Optimus Prime is at the very beginning setting Bumblebee up for Earth, and then we just have Bumblebee, or Bumblebee's on Earth, and he comes in at the very end. It's like, we have work to do, or whatever, and then Transformers 1 some years later. But I don't want him in the movie throughout. That would ruin it.
I understand that. Ashley, important question to you.
Yep.
Norm Macdonald, Artie Lang, comedy power team in the movie Dirty Work, directed by Bob Saget.
Okay.
Where do you place it on your list
You know
of movies?
what? I can't even believe that you guys are being nice about this Transformers situation, because Transformers, to me, I've said it before, I'll say it again, Transformers ended when Megan Fox left. I'm sorry. I hate Transformers. I can't even believe that this is a thing.
She was the power source there for that movie for you. She was the
power source.
She was the
Completely.
all-spark for
When
your
she
love
left,
of
it was
Transformers.
done with.
I mean,
You know
she's
why
not
we're doing-
wrong.
Yeah,
You're
you know
not
why, You know
wrong.
why we're doing this. You know why we're doing this because we're accepting the reality of the situation. This is happening. So now we're spitballing as to what would we like to
I can
see
tell you
in
guys,
the best
you
situation
guys like, I
possible.
guess if this is going to happen, this is what I'd go for,
That's
but
absolutely.
not into it at all.
I mean, the important thing is Bumblebee might be back to being a Volkswagen Beetle, which is
true.
the Bumblebee we all kind of knew and loved.
And he
because
might have,
be.
he might have
Better.
a voice.
we grew up lonely in the 80s. All right, next story, Ashley.
In a recent interview with Collider's own Steve Weintraub, American-made director Doug Liman offered up some new details on the status of the much-anticipated Edge of Tomorrow 2 movie that will see Liman, Tom Cruise, and Emily Blunt all returning again. As for when we can expect the movie, Liman states it might actually be a while due to scheduling problems with his two leads. Tom and Emily Blunt and I are really excited to go do it. We have a script. We're just trying to find a time to schedule it between my schedule and Emily's and Tom's. But it's one of these things where it's a sequel whose origins come from the best possible place, which is it's not a studio saying, hey, we think we can make some more money. Let's just stamp out another one. This sequel originated with the fans of the original films who continually came up to Tom and myself and Emily and told us how much they loved the movie and would we ever consider a sequel. And enough people said that to me and to Tom and to Emily that we finally sat down and said, what would a sequel even look like? We ended up with Chris McQuarrie coming up with a great story. Reilly, thoughts about the scheduling issues that are holding up Edge of Tomorrow 2?
Ashley, first off, I'm sorry about that long lead.
Yeah, that was
I saw graphics series?
Yeah, I saw that come up on the graphics, and
2 sentences
I
away.
felt
From
tense.
It was 2 sentences away from a one-woman show. Good job, Ashley.
I do apologize, but there was
okay.
there's a lot of good nuggets in there that I think we should discuss. Which one? I mean, yeah, the scheduling issues is you have Tom Cruise is going to make Maverick. He's going to make that desk, man.
Yeah, it's all.
That's we are going to fix that later.
Cody, can
yeah.
you get a screwdriver?
Yeah, come on.
Get a screwdriver, Cody. Fix that table.
Anybody got some WD-40 out
Yep.
here? We need some of that. Listen, Tom Cruise has Maverick that he's going to shoot next. So that's keeping him busy. I know that Emily Blunt has a lot of things going on in her life right now. Doug Liman is shooting Chaos Walking right now. We'll get to that later in a cool mailbag question. But so that's just life. As far as what I love is if Lyman is to be believed, is that the studio is like, no, take your time. And that this really did start from like a cult following of people who saw this after the fact. They went, my God, this movie's rad. They kept asking Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt, and Doug Liman, when can we get another one? And this like movement happened. And then everybody got together, and it's finally they have a script. So it's great we have a script. As a fan of the original movie, I want this thing now. I would much rather have Tom Cruise film Edge of Tomorrow 2 than Maverick. I don't need another Top Gun sequel. I'm intrigued by it, but I don't need it. I would like to see Edge of Tomorrow 2 because of the mythology created there. It was so great. So much passion behind this story. That's what I would love to see, but scheduling, it happens.
So, Jeremy, I guess one of the bigger questions is there a time limit to this? Is there a momentum problem that this movie needs to happen now, or can it wait?
Well, it deals with space-time, so I would say no.
Yeah,
they have all the time in the world per the actual plot of the movie. But, I mean, it has a few... I feel like a few years can go by before it reaches obscurity, and then because it's a cult classic, then you have to wait 20, you know, to do a sequel. So I guess there are worse problems for actors to have than, well, I can't do that right now because I'm actually so busy that I have other projects. So I'm actually surprised we don't hear about this more often. I mean, it does happen. We have heard about it before. But I feel like there are worse problems for everybody involved to have than, hey, we have so many projects. You have job security in this industry that is comprised of a lot of waiters and waitresses waiting to have the problems you have. I'm with Mark Reilly on this one. It was one of those things where I saw the movie, I'm like, okay, let's watch it. And then I watched it.
Right.
It was surprisingly, it was a surprise. It was the biggest surprise of that year, I believe, but it was a couple years ago, so I'm horrible at remembering such things. But it does lend itself to a sequel. Anytime you have that Groundhog Day scenario, there could be some other way where something gets undone or someone else comes in and has that Groundhog Day scenario. So obviously one of them is going to get it again. So we'll see what happens. I think it'd be neat if Emily Blunt gets it again, so he's the one who isn't reliving the day. We'll see what happens. But I'm with you. I'm intrigued with it. I'm glad it's not necessarily a cash grab, though I do throw out the argument that if he was like, no, I had this sequel planned from the beginning, I would be like, oh, so you had that from the beginning, and so it's not a cash grab, rather than people going, hey, we want to see a sequel, because by definition at that point it's like, well, they want a sequel. Can we make money on it? All right, I guess so. And so you kind of hit that Lost World thing with me, where Michael Crichton wrote Jurassic Park, and Jurassic Park was Jurassic Park. And then Jurassic Park came out in theaters and crushed, and then all of a sudden another Michael Crichton book came out because they were like, you need a sequel today. And it wasn't as good as the first one in book or movie form. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you call this a cult movie, and it is, though it's financially successful to probably be above that status. But it still kind of is one of those movies that kind of came out of nowhere, grew. So does that mean, though, a sequel comes out, it could hit the theaters and run into the same problem? Yeah. Where a lot of people still don't talk about this movie. A lot of people still are like, oh, I have to see that. I heard that was good. So if it comes out right away, wouldn't it kind of run and mark into the same problem?
It could, yeah. I mean, we're talking about it as maybe a cult film, but as film lovers, we love this movie.
I mean, 370 million is
worldwide,
success.
It's
the
not
biggest
bad.
cult film ever.
It's cult, but not cult, but cult. I mean, it's still, my point being, like, a sequel could come out, live, die, repeat again.
And like live, die, repeat.
It might run into the same problems if it waits too long.
Yeah, I think it could. And yeah, but for the main theatrical audience, they need to see it, like, if they're hearing about this now going, oh, this movie, I need to check it out, and then all of a sudden it's in theaters,
right?
Then we're on to something here. If this goes for another 2-3 years, we're at risk of what you're proposing, Ken, which is it might do as little as well as the original, or maybe a little under.
It's just a weird spot. I mean, it's weird having a cult and Tom Cruise movie in the same that same sentence there. You know what I mean?
I do argue that if Tom Cruise wasn't in it, I don't think the movie would have been springboard enough. He's one of those weird. He's like the last superstar that can do what he does and bring a movie that's still like, oh, maybe I'll watch it, maybe I won't, and just completely commit to it. One thing I do want in this entire thing, I want a retitle, because that's the dumbest title ever. So as long as they retitle it, I think that's a good starting point.
I think they should go back to All You Need Is Kill. Seriously, the original title is the best title we've had, because Edge of Tomorrow is weird. It's fine. But then when they rebranded it with Live, Die, Repeat, then everybody's confused. It's amazing that people still found it, because you're like, you get a different title. You're like, what? I thought I was looking for Edge of Tomorrow but I guess not.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a conversation I saw someone on my Facebook or something posted. Like, this is a conversation I just heard at Best Buy where someone was like, "Do you have Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise?" And the Best Buy person was like, "No, we have Live Die Repeat. It's with Tom Cruise. It's pretty good." And the mom was like, "No, that's not it. Thanks anyway." And then broke off, and that was that. All You Need Is Kill is a graphic novel, right?
But yeah, the graphic novel it's based on.
Yeah. So is there a sequel to that? And if not, are they just branching out?
Are
into
they
new
just
territory?
like, hey, let's do it ourselves
Right.
there?
I don't know if there's a sequel. Internet?
Get
to it.
Find out. Find out. So, Ashley, there is a scene where Jim Downey and Fred Wolf are playing homeless people, and Norm Macdonald walks up to them and gives them $1 to harass his enemies. One of the best scenes ever in comedy?
Sure. I don't know where we're going with that, but I'm just going to go with a yes on that.
I've seen a trend here, and I can't wait for this to continue through the show.
Oh, God.
Next story.
All right. Well, coming out this week is Blade Runner 2049. Officer K, Ryan Gosling, a new Blade Runner for the Los Angeles Police Department, unearths a long-buried secret that has the potential to plunge what's left of society into chaos. His discovery leads him on a quest to find Rick Deckard, Harrison Ford, a former Blade Runner who's been missing for 30 years.
Well.
Yeah.
This is big. This is a lot. Speaking of cult movies.
Yeah.
That have their sequels. Blade Runner is definitely one of the all-time greats, one of the most influential science fiction movies. But here it is, all this time later, a lot of expectations. Mark, I'm going to start with Jeremy because I know you're a huge fan.
Yeah.
Jeremy, not that you're not. What are you thinking going into this?
All right, going into this, first of all, I hate the Blade Runner poster that's behind Mova's head. I've been looking at it all day, and it's the most generic.
I hate those posters.
Person, and the people get smaller as they go down to the bottom. Rogue One had the same poster.
What would you have wanted?
What
Harrison
would I have
Ford
I
turning
would have
more,
wanted something
showing his butt to the camera, or
yeah. Harrison Ford showing his butt to the camera would have been all right. Jared Leto maybe, but I would have liked. I was looking at my Blu-ray for Blade Runner,
right?
And
the Drew Struzan.
Yeah. Back then, movie posters were art pieces.
Yeah.
You know, you can
Struzan's
hang them
great.
on your wall. If you hang most movie posters out there on your wall, you're like, it's kind of the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
So I like the old school posters. Enough bitching about the poster. Blade Runner 2049. I don't know what to expect of it because Blade Runner was fascinating in that it was kind of here's where I think society's going, and now society is definitely different than what Blade Runner, the Blade Runner hypothesis for the future is. But it looks like, you know, from that explanation where it's what's left of civilization or humanity or whatever. I feel like that's okay. Well, now it's an excerpt for that future, which is more in line for our future, and I noticed that scene where it shows a grave. I think I know, you line up the years, you know whose grave that is.
Right.
I have a question about how on earth he's old. And so that's a question that I liked having at the end of Blade Runner. Don't want it answered. I think they should ride the line, though the final cut and the other cuts of Blade Runner pretty more definitively than the U.S. cut give you the answer of Harrison Ford. I want them to ride the line of giving you the story, but still not answering that. I want that to still be a question. I feel like they could do that. I don't want a definitive, oh, yeah, by the way, here's your answer to replicants, and let's, you know,
you don't
it kind of takes the fun away from Blade Runner. It's the fun of watching Blade Runner many times, seeing that one scene where she says, will you hunt me? He goes, no, and he turns around, he goes, but someone will, and his eyes are glowing like them. I want to see replicants' eyes glow like that. It was some weird light trick where it was reflecting the eye, the inner eye, like cameras do, the camera flash. It was just a simple effect that I really liked in the original Blade Runner that I don't want a CGI eye glow. I want that same lighting effect. I don't know if you're going to get that. I have a lot of thoughts about Blade Runner, very little expectations of Blade Runner, because with a movie like this, you can't. You can't be like, oh, 35 years before. Let's have expectations. I feel like that just sets you up for failure.
Expectations are what sets a lot of these franchises with movies coming out again or reboots sets it up for failure, because we have in our minds what we want. And this is a movie that's going back to what, 82 movie release dates, going back that the people have been waiting. That I don't think, though, people thought the difference might be no one really thought more would be coming out with this movie,
absolutely.
right? This isn't like me as a Star Wars kid writing Episode 7 by myself in 1983, waiting for a movie to come out. So, Mark, off of what Jeremy's saying here, where are your expectations going in?
Well, my expectations, I was a little reserved going into it, leading into the first trailers, the marketing campaign starts kicking up. All I kept saying was, well, Denis Villeneuve is behind the camera here. That to me is exciting. So Then he says something along the lines of, I didn't want to let anybody else do a sequel to Blade Runner because they'll screw it up. And I love that. I love the confidence behind that because he's a huge fan of the original. And then when I started hearing the reactions from some of our colleagues, that's when it went into overdrive. I cannot wait to see this movie just because of what people have been saying that we work with. Especially that if you love the original Blade Runner like I do, you're going to love this movie. That's enough for me. I don't need to read any reviews. I don't need to see any more trailers. I did start reading a review from one of my friends that I really enjoy their opinion and was spoiled within the first 2 sentences.
What?
Because I did not know a certain thing is kind of known in the movie right off the bat. So I go off of what Steve Frosty Weintraub said, which was, yeah, talking about this movie in the simplest of terms, just giving you a synopsis is kind of a spoiler. So, with that being said, I'm not going to read anything. I can't wait to see this. I'm going to make up my own mind on whether or not it's a masterpiece, like some people are saying, or, it's fine, like a few are saying, but it's at 95% Rotten Tomatoes right now. I couldn't be more happy to see this. It's a Denis Villeneuve movie. It's a Blade Runner sequel. It's a Harrison Ford movie. It's all that and more.
Wow. Ashley, you going to see this movie this weekend? You excited?
I am excited because I think I'm the only one left on the Collider crew. Now that Mark Ellis is gone, I haven't seen Blade Runner. So I have no expectations for this whatsoever. And we were talking about what could make this movie poster better and whose butt should be on the poster. And I think Ryan Gosling's butt should be on the poster.
Wearing
And
a long coat, it wouldn't work.
he's gorgeous to look at, but he's also talented.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
mean,
excited.
I agree with both of those things. And, you know, Mark Ellis might not have been the only one left. There might have been another kid
Really?
who grew up thinking that this wasn't a Han Solo movie, so he wasn't going to see it. But we'll see. I don't know who that was there. All right,
heard
well,
of this
Blade Runner
person.
2049 is leading the charge of movies coming in theaters this weekend, so I'm sure a lot of you will be seeing it, and we'll have a full spoiler review, I'm sure. We're going to have a lot of Blade Runner stuff on here. It's actually, you know, in terms of sci-fi movies, this is a pretty big event, Mark,
is a big event.
to have Blade Runner back in the screen.
It's huge. I never thought it would happen. I mean, the original Blade Runner became a classic of film cinema. I couldn't be more excited to see what they can do, especially with Denis' eyes going through this story. That's exciting.
All right, well, we reached the portion of the show called Buy or Sell. Buy or Sell. That's right, I've been on the show before. Yeah. We're going to have a news story, and Ashley's going to ask us, and we're going to answer pretty simply, buy or sell. And then we're going to give a 10-minute monologue supporting our answer. Right? Ashley?
Get your money ready.
Take it away.
In a report from Deadline, Judy Greer is in negotiations to star in David Gordon Green and Danny McBride's Halloween relaunch as Karen Strode, the daughter of Laurie Strode, played by the returning Jamie Lee Curtis. Green is directing from a screenplay he co-wrote with McBride, with Halloween creator John Carpenter serving as executive producer, as well as providing the score. The production just kicked off filming in South Carolina and will hit theaters on October 19, 2018. Jeremy, buy or sell Judy Greer playing Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter in the new Halloween movie?
Judy Greer is okay. So this is Judy. Judy Greer is like 42, right?
She is, she's around that age.
So I did the math on this. Like Jamie Lee Curtis is, or at least I don't know how old her character was in Halloween. She would have had to have been 16 if you give their actual ages.
Yeah, she was like 16, 17.
To have her.
in the
All right.
original.
So at that point, my question is, did she have sex after Halloween or before Halloween?
That's
Because
where you
if
went?
you're believing Randy from Scream, if she is not a virgin, she should have died in the original Halloween movie.
Right.
These are the rules of horror movies. So that's just
Sure.
where my question, that's where my mind goes on this.
Wow, okay.
And so at that point, is it concentrating on her daughter or is there a granddaughter involved also?
I think there needs to be a granddaughter, not because of any ageism belief or anything like that. It just seems that we're just getting the cast starting to roll out.
Right.
That you Jamie Lee Curtis and Judy Greer, I see a third generation in there. That's
so
what I'm
do you
trying to
think
say.
she had sex before or after Halloween?
You know what?
Again?
I
Because-
just recently saw Halloween for the first time, Ashley. I'm catching
nice.
up. And I didn't have that question.
Well,
Not once during the movie.
I didn't have that question until I found out that a 42-year-old was playing her daughter, and then I did the math, and I'm just saying the rules of horror movies
I understand
specifically
the rules.
state.
That noise you're making, it's getting to your mind now.
Yeah.
What, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I'm just saying amateurs.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I didn't. Do you buy it or you sell it?
I buy it. I think she does. Yeah. You're like, look, we need a specific buy or sell.
Have
Like,
a
it's like
segment.
this. It's like this. If they explain whether or not She was a virgin in the original Halloween.
Oh,
Given
God.
on that, I will buy her so.
All right. Mark Reilly, thoughts on virginity in horror movies and this topic?
Well, I mean, Halloween and Halloween 2 take place all on one night.
Yes.
Have you seen Halloween 2?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Jamie Lee Curtis was the virgin in those movies.
Yeah.
So, and she lived. And now we're 40 years later, and she has a kid in Judy Greer. So to answer your question, I don't care. I'm excited for Judy Greer
But you see, Mark,
to be in Halloween. I was trying to wrap it around and give you some credit, but I couldn't do it because
here is the thing.
yeah.
If she had to be 16 in order to have this daughter,
I'm gonna buy it, Ken. I'm just gonna
You're gonna buy
jump
it.
in there
You're
and
gonna buy it.
I'm
Okay.
just.
definitely should have died in the original Halloween.
She
All
lived. We're picking up. We're erasing all the other movies.
Yeah, no Rob Zombie Halloween.
No
none of
Rob
that,
Zombie
okay.
Halloween movie, which
No
makes me
Halloween
the
6?
most
The-
excited. No Halloween 6. No Return of Michael Myers, Halloween 4. No Revenge of Michael Myers with the mythology that there was a cult behind Michael Myers.
Just
yeah, this is just a
Going to the
fresh.
original.
No.
Get rid of it. And I still think Halloween 3 can exist on its own because it doesn't have Michael Myers in it. Halloween 3, a very underrated horror movie. I buy this. Judy Greer has always been a fantastic actress. I'm excited that she's going to be in it, that she's going to be Laurie Strode's daughter. That just kind of, it's also very kind of an obvious story point meaning, obviously, we're going to get Michael Myers trying to go after Laurie Strode and her family again. We saw that in the Halloween 4 movie, was where we meet her daughter. We find out later it's her daughter and that Michael Myers is the uncle, and he's now trying to kill her again. And that seems to be a tired plot point in Halloween, so I'm hoping they don't do that. Okay. But everything is coming together where it looks like that's what they're doing. But I hope there's a fresh take on Michael Myers returning again, that we go back to him being the Shape, a force of nature, existing in the shadows, showing up out of nowhere and killing people on Halloween. Let's keep it simple. I've always said that, but as far as Judy Greer, it's a buy.
Okay, look, I'm going to buy this just because I'm a fan of Judy Greer. Getting her involved in a project is always she's a great character actress, a great second, and I think I'm not worried about sex timelines, but I think we are going to get a third. That third generation's there. So this is just to me a simple buy on filling out what will probably be an interesting cast. And I think more than anything, I'll buy that John Carpenter's back providing the score and all that kind of stuff. So Ashley, your thoughts on a sex timeline?
Oh
for
my
Laurie Strode
gosh! Well, I
coming out
don't
of
know
Halloween?
about. I can't work out the sex timeline. I'm gonna have to do like a chart on that one. But huge buy for me. I love the Halloween franchise. I'm so excited for this. And Judy Greer always kind of remaining out of the spotlight. Yeah. So I wonder if this will bring her into the spotlight a little bit more. But the only thing I sell about this is that it's not coming out this year because I love scary movies at Halloween time, my favorite thing.
We have Jigsaw though, right?
What's that?
Yeah, oh wait, you mean Saw Legend? I think it's called, or something like that.
Jigsaw.
Yeah. So I mean, you can't have the return of both, man.
I'm so excited for this.
Yeah.
Why do you all like scary movies so
I
much?
love
That's the
scary
big
movies.
question.
I don't know what it is. It's the adrenaline.
Why do you not like scary
I don't
movies?
like to be scared.
Yeah.
Cody, am I wrong, Cody? I'm wrong. Damn it.
See, it reminds you you're alive.
I don't like to be scared. I don't
don't
know
like
why.
scary
I don't
movies?
like scary movies.
You gotta try it out.
I've been forced recently to watch some scary movies, and
But did you like the original Halloween?
I liked it. I got it. It was influential. Like 3 nights later, I had a nightmare. I haven't had a nightmare for like 10 years.
Job well done, John Carpenter.
Man, come on. Scary. All right.
All right. According to THR, Neil H. Moritz and Tim Miller are teaming up with Paramount Pictures to mount a live-action movie centering on Sonic the Hedgehog. Deadpool director Tim Miller is executive producing the project, while his longtime Blur Studio collaborator Jeff Fowler is making his feature directorial debut on the film. Paramount plans on making the Sonic movie a blend of live-action and CGI animation. However, no word on a cast or release date has been released at this time. Can buy or sell a live-action Sonic the Hedgehog movie over at Paramount?
Well, I will buy this on one condition. I know it's a live-action version, a quote-unquote live-action version. I will buy it if my good pal Roger Craig Smith, the voice of Sonic, voices Sonic in this movie. If not, I'll sell that thing, get it out of my life. Now, it's interesting. I don't know. I grew up playing Sonic, collecting those rings, Jeremy, but I don't see this. I could see it being fun. I look at the Lego movie. Never thought a Lego movie would work, and it did. So I'll buy it. I'll buy it just on concept, I guess. You're a video game guy. You grew up collecting rings with Sonic, right?
Oh, absolutely. I still remember the supersonic code where you could you just lay down 50 rings, jump, turn into supersonic.
Yeah.
I love the song. I'm going to sell it because it's a video game movie, and those are never good. First of all, I saw a couple scenarios which was just spelled out for me, one of them being definitive. One, it's an animation. I think that would be the smart way to go. Two, it's all live action, where Sonic the Hedgehog is going to look like some weird, creepy, actual hedgehog, and you don't want that. Or three, it's a mix of live action and CGI, like the Smurfs. So no scenario I see working. I get the talent behind it. This is Tim Miller,
Yeah.
you said? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we all loved Deadpool. I can't do it. I'm selling it because video game movie with Smurfs concept. I can't.
It's tough. It's a tough buy if you're going to buy it all, Mark. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm only buying this thing if Roger Craig Smith is voicing it. Yeah, our good friend Roger has been the voice of Sonic. He did the voice when Sonic appeared in Wreck-It Ralph, I believe.
Yeah.
So there's a precedent for it, but I'm worried that they're going to be like, all of a sudden, it's like,
Jack Black!
yeah, Jack Black is the voice of Sonic, or, Jeremy Renner coming in doing the voice of, that's weird.
Jeremy Renner?
That's awesome.
Jaleel White.
Can you
voice
imagine
Sonic?
if Jeremy Renner was announced as the voice of Sonic?
I
Everybody
mean,
would be
then,
like,
okay, then I might be buying. Now it's just weird enough to
now
work.
it's weird. God, how many just random voice actors, or just actors in general, is like Daniel Day-Lewis, the voice of Sonic, comes out of retirement. But I will buy this if he's doing that. It's kind of, I don't know what to think about this. We have Tim Miller, who's going to EP this thing. He's got a longtime collaborator from Blur Studios, who's going to make his directorial debut. The thing that keeps popping in my head is the live-action Smurfs movie.
You guys are both right.
And that's not. If it's that, I'm selling this thing.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound fun to me. Yeah. I hate it when all of a sudden Sonic just appears in our world and he's like, "What am I doing here?" And then he's like, "Let's go on an adventure." And you're like, "Oh, that's stupid." I don't care about that kind of stuff. Give me a really original idea, but what you say, video game movies, not a good track record.
Not a good track record.
To bring Roger in, and then I'm buying.
All right. Ashley, you're our own little Smurfette. What do you think about this?
Well, you guys want to talk about horror movies.
Yeah.
This sounds scary as balls. I can't imagine Sonic the Hedgehog looking, I don't know, the way it seems scary. This is a huge sell for me.
Nice.
Just
Right,
on
I love the
idea.
fact
Can
that
I buy it as a horror movie? Because I'll buy it then.
See, exactly.
That would be fun.
That was where I was going. I love the fact that just a second ago, Mova was like, scary movies and horror movies, and I can't wait. This sounds too scary.
But not when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog. I want it to be and look a certain way.
This one sounds like emotionally scary. Like you're in some weird valley. It's like the Governor Tarkin Valley. Here,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
yeah. The
Sonic, a
uncanny
real-life
valley.
hedgehog running around collecting rings. All right, that's fair. Good answer. Good answer.
Where are there rings in our real world?
He's going to take engagement
rub.
rings from
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that sounds terrible.
Hey,
It just comes out with, "Do you have a ring? Kill it!" I don't know what's going to happen.
End of movie.
End of movie.
End of movie.
Oh,
Hey, if
sounds
Sonic
terrible.
is a petty theft kind of expert, maybe that's what we got here. Guys, we got a lot of things going on here on Collider Video. The Wonder Woman commentary will go up later today. We had some of our Collider favorites sit in a room. We trapped them in there, gave them some potato chips, maybe a thing of water they had to fight for between each other, and they watched Wonder Woman lay down some excellent, fun commentary. That's going to be up today on the channel. Sync it up with your copy of the movie. Also, as I mentioned, the reason I'm sitting in this chair and the wonderful Mark Ellis isn't is most of the Collider crew is heading out to New York City for New York Comic Con, and we've got a lot of things going on here. We got the Heroes Live panel Friday. That's October 6th, 12:15 to 1:15. That's in room 1A24. Movie Talk Live panel Saturday, 10/7. That is 4:15 to 5:15 in room 1A21. You guys can see it there. And perhaps most importantly, we got that meet and greet at McSwiggin's. That's a real name. It's not a Simpsons parody bar. And that's Thursday night on the 5th, 8:30 p.m. All those times. Local 2nd Avenue at 23rd Street. Wow, that's deep in the city there. And the big thing is Collider will be live streaming some of the top panels all weekend. Pacific Rim, The Punisher, The Walking Dead, and more. And we will begin streaming Thursday, 11 a.m. That's Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific. So that also means you might see Movie Talk go up a little bit later in the day and not be live because we we are going to be broadcasting those panels. It's big for us. We are officially streaming this stuff, so this is great. If you're in New York, make sure you go on out and check us out in person. Also, Heroes is every day this week. John Schnepp and his crew breaking down all the latest in comic book news and comic book movie news. And we got a big schmodown today. Little Evil, JTE versus Drew McWeeny.
Wow.
The winner. Wow, we're going to have, if they win, they could be facing, could be an interesting battle. That's all I'll say there. And finally, Awesome-tacular with our very own Jeremy Jones dropped Friday. A link to the show is in the show notes. Having fun doing that show. Squeaky Johns over there. Also, this show right now today is live. Tomorrow will be live, so we'll be taking your live questions via Twitter at the end of the show. Ashley Mova will be going through that. But right now, we got ourselves a mailbag.
That we do. And Jimmy writes, "Hey, Collider, I recently saw the new photo of Daisy Ridley and Tom Holland and Doug Liman's next movie, Chaos Walking. She looks so different, and with her part also in Murder on the Orient Express, it got me thinking about her as an actress. I thought she might be known as Rey her entire career, but now seeing this picture, I wonder if she'll actually be breaking out from Star Wars, maybe for good. Do you think Daisy Ridley has the best chances of becoming the Harrison Ford of Star Wars actors by becoming the most prolific actor from Star Wars? Thanks for taking my question."
That's a great question and a fair question. It's one that we as Star Wars fans sometimes don't want to admit, that Star Wars can trap actors into certain roles forever. Harrison Ford did break through. Mark Hamill's getting a lot of just rewards now, but he went on to have a great voiceover career, as we all know. And Carrie Fisher was always Princess Leia, even until she came back to the role. But she also has a great career as a script doctor and an author and a writer. So they had varied careers. I get the question, though, and it's a fair question. I think, though, Poe Dameron, Oscar Isaac is already kind of, he was bigger, not bigger, but well-known within the acting circles and movie circles, and came to the role, but was small enough in terms of star power that he could be Poe Dameron without people being distracted. The big question, I think, Murder on the Orient Express and this movie, that is a big question. Can Daisy Ridley get beyond Rey? Because Rey was so much her. That's so much her personality. So much of that comes through just in how she performed, and that's why I think Rey's one of the best characters of all time in Star Wars. But, Mark, does she have that potential?
You look at her performance as Rey, which is like her second role. She had like a very small role and then Rey, and she killed it. I'm sorry, she is one of the best Star Wars characters we've seen. I love her to death. I fell in love with her just from the very first moment I saw her on screen. And you don't do that without being a talented actress. And so she has that going for her. Now, are people going to buy her outside of Rey? That's the question. And this image from Chaos Walking looks great. She does look very different. I mean, what can you say? It's, it's a behind the scenes look, but she looks different. So I'm interested in Murder on the Orient Express to see the kind of like a different Daisy Ridley in a murder mystery, something that looks very fascinating to me. So I am excited to see that. And once I see that, then I'll be able to give a better answer of like, yeah, she's going to be just fine. But you're right. Oscar Isaac has been around for a while. He was great. And Inside Llewyn Davis, is that what it's called?
Yeah,
sure.
Thank you, Jeremy. Oscar Isaac is great as that. John Boyega, Attack of the Block, he was fantastic in that. We have him in Pacific Rim Uprising, so that's going to be another look at him. So to say that we're going to have to like crown a new Harrison Ford out of maybe that three, I think is a little unfair. I don't like to do that.
Yeah.
I'm excited just to see Daisy. If it's just Daisy we're talking about, I'm excited to see her in Murder on the Orient Express, and then even more so in Chaos Walking.
Jeremy?
Yeah, I think typecast has always been a thing with superhero movies, sci-fi movies, Star Wars, whatever it'll be. You do have Daisy Ridley up there. I think the whole crew, Oscar Isaac, John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, I think they're going to be fine. You've seen them in other stuff, and I think they're playing their career smart. Like, just one for them, one for me, one for them, one for me. They bob and weave. Don't forget the fact that she's there with Spider-Man, too.
Yeah.
So that is another question. Like, is Tom Holland going to be Spider-Man forever? Because you look at Tobey Maguire, he's Spider-Man, And so, but you look at Jack Nicholson, he was already Jack Nicholson before he was the Joker. So he wasn't in that fear of being typecast. You look at a lot of the Marvel guys, if they're not in Marvel movies, people, like Robert Downey Jr. has been in other stuff, but if he's not Tony Stark, people care less. And I think if you make the paychecks they're making, the people tend not to care. Because they can buy pretty much whatever they want. So I don't know if it is because of social media or not, but there is definitely something that changed between the 80s, 90s, and even the 2000s, and now the 2010s that makes people, it's easier to break out of typecasts than it used to be. So I think they're all going to be fine.
I was going to say that too, that this is a bit of a different time, and Harrison was able to do it. But he's a personality-based actor, I think, and so we just all, as a world, fell in love with Harrison Ford, or you wanted to be Harrison Ford, and so I get that. I think you're right. Different times. Maybe the movie-going audience is, I don't want to say more smarter, but they're just more aware of what's going on, and will maybe follow these performers to different venues. Boyega is in Detroit. We'll see Pacific Rim. Adam Driver already kind of had a bit of a reputation. This is taking him to the next level, and he's already made brave and different choices. So I think they all stand a pretty good chance. But Daisy Ridley as Rey, that's some star power. She is Rey. She's everywhere. She's in every merchandising thing right now in Target if you go there. So I think she'll be. That character will follow her maybe more than the others, but I think she has a good chance to break on out. Ashley, any thoughts on the Daisy Ridley?
You know, I was pulling Twitter questions and then thinking about like, oh, I think that, you know, she's so talented. She can, you know, pull off a lot of roles. And then I looked over and damn, that wig is not a good look for her. That is shocking. I do not recognize her at all, but
it looks a little Lilo from Fifth Element, a little blonde
the color
version of that.
scheme
Yeah.
is definitely Fifth Element.
That is intense, but I'm sure she can do it. She can pull it
I
off.
think she's got a lot of talent. She's got a great personality as well. All right, we've reached the portion of the show where you can lob question at us via Twitter. And Ashley is the gate guard today. What do you got for us?
Okay, a lot of people are asking about this, but Eric Ortiz and Mr. Yasman both asked thoughts on Jared Leto being eyed to play Hugh Hefner in biopic film.
Wow.
Mark, I'll defer to you. We might be talking about this more tomorrow, but what do you think about this?
I think it's interesting casting for sure. I mean, we know that Jared Leto is a method actor, so he's gonna put himself in the role. I mean, I know about that, and it makes sense that this has been in development for a long time. Brett Ratner. The thing is, I'm not excited about Brett Ratner.
Nah.
I mean, you know, I did see a lot of Twitter questions lobbed at me too, like, you know, hey, Reilly, put this on Movie Talk, and I saw a number of things of calling Brett Ratner sleazy, and I think that's it's a good.
Look, it's a touchy. I know what you're saying. I know where you're going.
It's touchy. Listen,
Ratner directing a Hugh Hefner movie just sets a different tone in your head.
It really
than,
does.
Say Paul Thomas Anderson.
Exactly,
You know what I mean? or someone to that.
And that would have been an interesting director, Paul Thomas Anderson. You know, you think of Boogie Nights. You know, he could do this. But with Ratner, you don't know what you're going to get. He's been a very prolific producer as of late. He was, he's been a producer for many years. He's done The Revenant. Out of all things, Brett Ratner produced The Revenant, which I find fascinating. So he's got the chops as far as maybe a period piece that we're likely to get. If we have Jared Leto, are we getting a young Hugh Hefner? It sure looks that way. Are we going to use some mocap aging to get him to where we just recently lost Hugh Hefner? So it's interesting. I like, if it's a buy or sell, I like Jared Leto. I just don't like Brett Ratner being the showrunner on this, to use that.
Yeah, again, it sets a tone, but if it's something more like a Sorkin version, you know, the Social Network type of situation, that's what I could see. Jeremy, thoughts on this?
My thought is, I can't wait for the stories of Jared Leto. You know, when he was the Joker, it's like, I mailed rats to people because I'm crazy. And now in Blade Runner, it's like he wore contacts to make him blind for a month. And then now the story's going to be like, I had so much sex just for research. It was research for the role. What can I say? I'm method like that. It's all part of the job. So good job, Jared Leto. It's for you. But I agree with you on Brett Ratner. I emulate that. I don't think he's the guy to do it.
No.
But someone who possibly is more versed in the world of biopics. You get someone like that. Jared Leto, I suppose he'd be a good role. I'm sure he wants it. So sure.
I could see it working out. Ashley, what do we got?
Marissa Killingsworth, I like this one. She writes, if you could take any movie character on a date, who would you pick and where would you take them?
Well, the answer's pretty simple, and I think you all should follow and answer with me. It's Cora Monroe from Last Mohicans, Madeline Stowe's character. Come on. What are you talking about? You know, you take her to a cabin and you kill a bear, you slice it up and cook it for her, you pour some wine straight from grapes you just crush with your feet. It's great. It's an easy date. That's my pick.
Wow. I just can't wrap my head around cooking some bear. It's like, oh, how do you like your bear?
It's like I know how to kill them. I played Red Dead Redemption. It's all right.
All right, yeah, that's a good answer. My God, Jeremy, what do you got? I'm trying to think. Something that's not Star Wars, because I went right to, well, Princess Leia, of course.
Han wouldn't let that happen.
This is going to be pre-Han.
The courtship of Princess Leia.
I will court Princess Leia and have a wonderful date with her on Alderaan before all it goes to shit. But we'll take her out, maybe a speeder, go look at some mountains, drink some champagne. That's mine. Princess Leia, date time.
It's funny. I started going through the Rolodex. I was like, no. Then I started hitting the Disney princesses, and I realized they're all under 18, which means Brett Ratner can do the movie about me one day.
Okay.
I don't know. I genuinely. I got one. I got one.
Please answer fast.
Recover yourself. Recover yourself.
Yeah.
I'll take the Joker out on a date. Here's why.
The Joker.
Oh my God,
okay.
I was going to say that.
No, you can't steal it now.
All right. Come up
Because
with
if
a
I
second
take him out
choice.
on a date, that makes me Batman. Or Harley Quinn. I don't know. I'll take Harley Quinn on a date. That'd make me the Joker.
I mean, I could see Jeremy in those shorts. All right, Ashley, second choice, or are you sticking with the Joker?
Okay, I'm going to go with Ryan Gosling's character from the movie with Emma Stone. I cannot think of his character's name or the movie
Crazy
title.
Stupid Love?
Yes, Crazy Stupid Love, because he's just such a romantic in that movie where he becomes to be a
over
romantic.
that one over La La Land.
Yes,
You don't wanna
because
say
I
jazz
cannot
with him.
stand him singing and dancing. That's where it ends. I want to be the artistic one. He can't take take the artisticness away from me.
Hold on. You want a Ryan Gosling who cannot sing and dance?
No, I can't.
Well, I
stand
mean,
that.
that would still be the one in La La Land. So,
He did a little dancing in
That's
Crazy
exactly
Stupid
what
Love.
I mean.
He
Yeah,
did.
but it was
He
just a
did the-
little bit
the-
of a lift.
yeah.
That's all I want. I don't want any of this. I want
He just
this.
would walk up to you at a bar and go, "Hey, funny face, you're coming home with me."
I'd
That's
go
what
with
he
it.
does.
I'd
And
go
Ryan,
with
I
it.
mean, he was, and
what
Crazy
about
Stupid Love.
as a second choice? How about Steve Carell in that movie?
Oh, well, he turns out to be,
Velcro
this
wallet.
charming
Right.
Velcro wallet using. No, he dumps the Velcro wallet. I'll
But
go
he
with,
had
I'll go
the
with the second
Velcro
guy.
wallet.
He did, but
It's a good one.
He'd have it
it
with
made
you.
him have a good personality.
He found his man again. He got his man back. His man, strong man. Steve Carell in Crazy Stupid Love.
Oh yeah, when he gave the speech.
Yeah.
All right.
hell,
Mark
buddy.
Ellis sent in his answer to me, and it is actually Rod Tidwell from Jerry Maguire's his answer. All right. One more? Let's go with one more.
Okay. Stephen Torpy writes, "It seems y'all are critical of movie posters. What makes a good movie poster?"
Oh, that was me. That was
Hell
me.
yeah.
Because I was
We are
bitching
critical.
about the pyramid. Look, all I want, like, you take the fountain, the
fountain.
mountain between us. Fine movie poster. You take My Little Pony. Fine movie poster. You take It. That's a great movie poster. American Made's less so, but that's a little intriguing. Like, the point is, when you have the main stars are going to be big. And then as we go down, they're going to get smaller, smaller, smaller. You just Google the pyramid movie posters, and you will find a myriad of them in the past few years. Anything that's not that. I personally like the movie posters from back in the 80s when they were drawn, like the old Star Wars posters, the old Blade Runner poster. Those are really cool. They were like art pieces. You can hang them in your room. And just enjoy them. Like the Kong Skull Island poster, which actually there's one over there where it looks like Apocalypse Now. That was a good one. Apocalypse Now was also a good poster, which that springboards off of. Just anything that shows any form of art. The thing I do like about the Blade Runner poster is the fact that on Ryan Gosling's side, it all looks like red and cinder. And on Harrison Ford's side, it's all blue and cold and futuristic. I do like that element of it. That's what sets it apart a little bit from the other movie posters. But that pyramid shit bores me.
Yeah, I agree that this looks like you could have photoshopped this on your own on the weekend and put it together. There's not a lot of art to it. It gets the point across. It's not that having all the cast or all the plot of the movie on the poster doesn't work. I look at The Force Awakens. I loved that poster, but it was a callback. It was Drew Struzan doing what he what he had done in the 70s and 80s. So I like that. I like simplicity. I like intrigue. I hate Katherine Heigl with her back to any kind of guy going, romantic comedy stuff. That you can get on out of there. Mark, I know you're a big fan of movie posters. Our office has a bunch of your favorites.
Yes, we have E.T., we have Raiders of the Lost Ark, even Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was a very interesting poster that you don't find in today's marketing campaigns. Look at the 70s and 80s for your movie posters, because they would show you the story without trying to feature what they do now, which is, here are the actors. You're going to see the movie now? Here are the actors. See? They're right here. They're right here on top of each other, and it's boring. It is boring. That is a boring poster. It does nothing for me. If you look at a poster like The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing is one of the best movie posters of all time. That, you have no idea what you're getting by looking at that poster, other than shit's going down, and it's not going to be good, and it's going to be scary, and I can't wait. If a movie poster looks like a piece of art, that is a good movie poster, as you can see when you walk into my home or my office.
Yeah, and one of the all-time great movie posters is pretty simple. It's got the lead of the movie against a white brick wall and the words "Dirty Work" across the bottom of it with Norm Macdonald. It just gets you geeked up for the movie, Ashley.
Wow.
What's your favorite movie poster?
I'm gonna have to say my favorite movie in general, Saw. It just gets straight to the point. It's a chopped off hand in the middle of the poster.
Great poster.
Yeah.
Totally agree
And
with
it,
you.
you know,
What's
catches-
going on inside that dark brain of yours?
I don't
Yeah.
know what my problem is.
Why do you like
but
Saw
I'm
so
dark.
much?
I don't
Wow.
know. I like the
Really?
I like the twist at the end. I guess that's kind of a spoiler if you haven't seen Saw. I
Well,
like the
yeah.
twist.
That's fine. Oh, there we got it. Spoiler alert came up.
Thanks, Cody. All right, hey, great answers, great questions. We thank you guys for reaching out to us live on Twitter. We had a lot of fun today. Like I said, I'm here holding down the fort while Mark Ellis is doing great work out in New York with the Collider crew. Check our coverage of New York Comic Con right here on Collider Video. The streaming begins Thursday morning, and we got the panels and the meet and greet out there Thursday night. Cody, throw that card up there again so people can get one more look at what we're doing there in New York City. A lot of good stuff going. Heroes Live panel, Movie Talk panel, and then you can ride the subways with Mark Ellis. Or no, oh wait, I think I misunderstood what the meet and greet is. So thank you so much to everyone joining on the panel today. We're going to have a lot of fun here this week, right, Jeremy?
Oh, of course, we have a lot of fun all the time. Is this my where you can find me speech?
Yeah, do that. Sign
Okay,
off, man.
you can find me at Jeremy Jones on YouTube, rest of the internet. You can find my show Awesome Tacular on Go90, where we talk movies, we talk comic books, we have a lot of fun. You can find me at my home on my couch, mapping out the sex life of Jamie Lee Curtis in
my
Halloween.
Mark Reilly.
Yeah, you can find me at Reilly Around on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, I'm going to be trying to crack the code of Jeremy Jones' sex timeline from Halloween.
All right, Ashley Mova, thank you for hosting.
no
I'm
problem.
sending it out today. I want to thank you not only for hosting, but being on the panel with us today.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
very, very
Jumping in.
fun, but I'm going to stay really, really far away from that timeline. And you guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, Ashley Mova. Happy Tuesday, guys.
That's a smart idea. Stay away from Jeremy and his Halloween sex timelines. I'm Ken Napzok. I'll be here all week with you. Thanks, Cody. Thanks, Jonathan, holding down the fort behind the scenes. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Hey everybody, Mark Ellis here. Thanks for watching this episode of Collider Movie Talk. You want to watch more? Then click up here, or you can click right here for more great content from Collider. And if you haven't subscribed to Collider Video, do so right now and share this vid with your friends. Thanks for watching.